Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Growth Room Podcast special series. What if I have 5 minutes? So today's guest is Dr. Elizabeth Pritchard, an international keynote speaker, researcher, best-selling author, and authentic leadership coach who helps women leaders close the gap between capability and confidence. So if she had just 5 minutes to share a message that could change someone's life, what would she say? Um, let's find out. Elizabeth, welcome to Bertram Podcast.
Thank you, Favor. This is
Yeah.
intriguing. I'm going, ooh, what would I say?
So now let's dive into the big question. Elizabeth, if you had just 5 minutes to share a message that could change someone's life, what would you say?
Stop doing and start being. What that means is that we get so caught up in do, push, strive, hustle, keep doing, tick off things off a to-do list, keep pushing, keep hustling, keep driving. And then we forget what it is to be to do that, what it is to be to have whatever we're wanting to have. And so we end up with stress, we end up fractured relationships, we end up pushing so hard that our health struggles. And so what I would say was to come back to who you are being on the inside. And when I say being, I'm not talking about roles or titles. I'm saying, who are you on the inside? Are you being this successful entrepreneur that you're wanting to be? Are you being the best friend that you can be in this conversation? Are you being calm? Are you being adventurous? Are you being creative? Are you being curious and learning more and growing more? Because when we come back to being first, to have what we want to have, then we do be, do, have. And that's the whole basis of the book that we've written, the Authentic Leadership Playbook, because it's so important to come back to being.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. So now, can you tell me what inspired the message?
Probably because I crashed and burned. I learned the hard way. Favour.
Yeah.
In April 2002, I totally hit the wall. I was, my roles were a mother of two. I was working, I was studying, I was looking after family, I was contributing in the community, and I was so busy doing, I never gave myself permission to push the pause button. I didn't give myself permission to recognize what was happening for me mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I hit the wall, absolutely hit the wall in 2002. And for 3 months, I couldn't even get out of bed without assistance. And it took me nearly 9 years to rebuild my life. And I knew I had to do it differently. I knew this was like a second chance for me, and I had to do it differently. And so I learned so many tools, and over the last 2-3 decades, I have been learning and growing. And what I mean by that is I don't just gather information. I don't just read books for the sake of saying I've read 23 books in the last 6 months. I look at information, I read information, I gather information, and I put one thing in place each time. Even if I have just 5 minutes to listen to something or to read something, then I ask myself these questions. What have I learned from this? And what is one tiny tweak I can put in place now? And that's how you keep growing and creating a different life forward.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. So now let's dive into your career. You often talk about the gap between capability and confidence. So, why do so many talented people struggle to see their own value?
It's based on our limiting beliefs that we've created and developed over life. And also, these get passed down through genetics in some ways as well. And our beliefs are those things that we've said to ourselves again and again and again that we've then created this whole big story around. And then we've developed this belief that guides our behavior and guides our responses to things. So it can be, it's nobody's fault, it's just the way we're built. And as children, if we've been told to sit in the corner and be seen and not heard, then we think, oh, okay, I'm not allowed to speak. Oh, I don't have something to say. It could be, no, the older brother get this first. And so we think, oh, my older brother's more important than me. And we go, no, this is not happening here, it's happening over there. And so we build up all these little stories which become beliefs in our lives. And most of them are unconscious. Most of them are the unconscious, it's like the record or the programming, the unconscious programming that happens in our brains. And as we go through life, we see and we do things, and our behaviors and everything is driven by these unconscious patterns. And so growth and development and creating who you be going forward from here, regardless what has happened, regardless of the situations, the events, the catastrophes, the trauma, the fun, the excitement, regardless of anything that you've experienced, we create these patterns going forward. And most of them are unconscious. And so growth happens when we have someone who can help us open up those patterns and go, does this pattern serve me anymore? No. I can step into my confidence. I can grow my capability. Anyone can grow capability. We can learn stuff. We can develop skills. Absolutely. It's just like going to the gym and we build a muscle. And we can also grow our confidence as well. So once we recognize who's running the show, what's running the show, and what these patterns are, we can bust through those. And we can go, I'm going to do it anyway. Because confidence comes through action. Confidence doesn't just show up one day and go, oh, I'm confident now, let's do it. We must take action.
Okay, thank you so much. So now, I'm curious. So what's the real cause of staying silent when you have something important to contribute?
Well, first of all, we all have something important to contribute. We all are here on this earth for a reason. And there's a display that's currently in Melbourne, Australia, where I live. And the display is Bodyworks. And part of it is a whole wall of 4 containers going from floor to ceiling, full, it's totally full of grains of rice. So there's thousands and thousands and millions of grains of rice across this whole wall. And in one of the containers, going from floor to ceiling, wall to wall, is a tiny red grain of rice. Now, when you look at that wall, you get to see how amazing it is that you are here, that I am here. That one tiny red grain of rice amongst a whole wall of millions of pieces of grains of rice. And when we recognize that we are here for a reason, when we recognize our value and our worth, then we begin to go, oh, okay, I'm here for something. I'm here to contribute to my family. I'm here to contribute to the person down the road. I'm here to contribute to this workplace. I'm here to contribute to the community, to my village, to the country, to the world. And the only thing that's holding us back is our own selves.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. So you describe a 4 second gap where careers and opportunities can stall. What happens in those 4 seconds?
The 4 second gap is between stimulus and response. So this is sort of from the work of Viktor Frankl, who was a psychiatrist, and he was actually in Auschwitz in the Second World War. And he explored that in more detail, and we know in psychology that there's a stimulus, there's a gap, and then there's a response. Now, within that gap, often it's the patterns and beliefs, like I talked about before, rule the response. And we don't recognize what we're doing. We just go, this person looks at me that way, and I just go, meow, and I react and get a bit aggro or a bit titchy or a bit frustrated. Or this person says no here, and so my pattern is blah, 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 blah. And we don't recognize that we're running on autopilot. And so part of the work that we teach is NPC. Notice, pause, choose again. NPC. And when we do that, when we begin to train ourselves, and this is a skill that we can learn, this is a capability that we can create within ourselves, just through practice, we notice what our response is. So we might notice the feelings first within our body. We might notice the anger rising. We might notice the uncomfortable tension within our bodies, or our shoulders, or our stomach, or our head when somebody says or does something. When we notice that, then we can push the pause button. And it's literally like pushing that pause button for a few seconds. And we go, oh, that's rising again. That's interesting. And if we approach that with openness and curiosity, and not blame or shame or guilt or judgment of ourselves or the other person, then we can have a different response. We choose again. We choose a different response. Notice, pause, choose again. And that gap between stimulus and response becomes within our control. And we will then get a different response and a different outcome. That's how you change your life. That's how you change your relationships. That's how you change what you do every single day.
Wow, 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 wow. That's incredible. Notice. Can you go over the 4 second gap? Notice, pause, then
And choose again. Yeah, notice, pause, and choose again.
yeah, notice, pause, and choose again. Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful piece. So now, what are some of the hidden self-doubt patterns that stop people from stepping into leadership roles?
The hidden patterns, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, things like the toxic 10. So the toxic 10 is work by Joseph McClendon III, and we've got some information in our book as well around that. And the toxic 10 are things like procrastination, perfectionism, hesitation, fear of success, fear of failure, stress, overwhelm, those sorts of things that have become a pattern of how we respond. So if we go, oh, but I always procrastinate, it's just a pattern. And usually we procrastinate because we are not sure of ourselves, or we're doubting ourselves. We've got the self-doubt thing coming in as well, or self-loathing sometimes, because it was like, oh, I'll just do it again. And unconsciously we have this pattern of, well, that's what I've labelled myself, so that's what I have to find the evidence and keep doing. So what we say we are, we are. So if we say, oh, I'm always late, then you'll always be late. Full stop. That's it. When you change the statements, when you change the thoughts, the regular thoughts, because a belief comes from a repeated thought over and over again becomes a belief. When we change those thoughts, when we change the statements that we're using about ourselves, then we can create a different way forward. And we can step into different roles in leadership. So instead of saying, I always procrastinate, I work better to deadlines, it's actually a load of BS. And there's 3 different types of BS. One of them you can imagine. One of them is blind spots. One of them is belief systems, and the other one's bullshit. And so our BS gets in the way, and it's part of our self-sabotage because we're just not quite sure about this unfamiliar thing or unknown thing that's in front of us. And we say, oh, but I need to procrastinate. And so we hold ourselves back.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Right. So now, how can someone begin building confidence when they don't feel confident yet?
As I said before, the only way to build confidence is to do it. So this is where you can elicit courage. This is where you step into your courage and just go, I don't feel confident yet. And that word that you just said, Favour, is brilliant. Yet means I get to create it. I get to choose it. I get to make it happen. If we don't feel confidence yet, it's because it's unknown or unfamiliar. And that's fine. It's like, wow, when you first tied your shoelaces, you didn't know how to do your shoelaces. And what did you do to create the ability to tie your shoelaces? Somebody taught you, you did it, you messed up, you didn't do it, you got frustrated, you did it once and then you couldn't do it again, then you did it again, and you did it again, and then you did it again, and now it's just like you don't even think about it. And so that's how we build confidence. It's a muscle, it's a skill.
Yeah.
And we must take action. We must step through if you're wanting to build it. You cannot wait to have confidence to create something. You cannot say, oh, I can't possibly stand on stage until I feel confident about it. That is one of those BS patterns. It's a toxic 10 showing up. You must feel the feels, notice, pause, choose again. Notice the feelings. It was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to throw up. That's okay. It's a natural response. Pause. What am I saying to myself in this moment? Am I saying, I don't want to do this? Oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Oh, this is terrible. I hate walking on stage. I hate talking in a meeting. I can't do this. I'm just terrible at this, blah, 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 blah. If you say all that, you're right. And so in that moment of pause, you get to choose to go, ooh, I haven't mastered this yet. I'm learning to speak on stage. I am learning to speak up in a meeting. I am learning to say no. Because as soon as we go, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're right.
Yeah. So in essence, you're saying, don't wait till you are confident before you do it. Don't wait till you're perfect before you take the action. You just have to start, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It was like, just do it. It was feel the feels, notice them, and go, wow, I'm noticing them. Fantastic. And you might be feeling uncomfortable. It was like, so what? It's just a feeling. And our emotions, actually, if we don't cling on to them, they only last for 90 seconds. They have a cycle. Our emotions rise like a wave and then ebb away. If we don't cling on to them, if we don't keep saying blah, 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 oh, but, oh, but, oh, but. And so we notice them, the feelings rise as a wave, we can watch them dissipate and we go, right, I'm still going to do it. It's just that it's unfamiliar and unknown. I'm doing it. And we take that first step, either figuratively or literally. We stand up, we step on stage, we open our mouths, we put our hand up to speak in a meeting, whatever it is. We take that next action physically and figuratively.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. So now, many growth room listeners are building careers, businesses, and remote opportunities. So how can they develop leadership before they have a leadership title?
Oh, that's Fantastic. Because we all lead ourselves first. So it doesn't matter what your title is. It doesn't matter if you think I'm 17 and got my first job, or I'm 25 and got a degree and I'm just going into the workplace as an intern. Doesn't matter. Or you're 45 or 65 going, oh my gosh, I'm going into my first high-level CEO C-suite job. Doesn't matter. You get to lead yourself first in every walk of life. And that's what authentic leadership is about. That's why we wrote this book. This book gives you the tools and the strategies to create that leadership of self first, to master your mindset, to master and recognize who you are being, and then put the notice, pause, choose again strategies and many, many other strategies throughout this book to do it differently. And every single time you go, oh, that person said this, and I want to punch them in the nose because I didn't like what they said. Every time you notice that, you are training yourself to lead yourself differently. And then when you get into a leadership role, whether it's formal or informal, whether it has a title or no title, doesn't matter, because you can still lead informally in a group, in a team. When you step into that, it's like, oh, I'm noticing that these people are having a reaction together. I was like, oh, I've learned how to deal with that myself. Okay, I can give them some tools. I can help support them. I can give them some different ways of doing different things. I can ask really good questions to get them to recognize, notice, so that they can pause and they can choose a different response. And then I'm helping to inspire and influence others. That's leadership.
Okay. So, so what role does mindset play in achieving long-term growth, and how can people shift limiting beliefs? We talk about limiting beliefs and all that.
Mindset is absolutely key. Everything that we do is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics or skills. So mindset is paramount. Master your mind. Recognize what you're thinking. Recognize how to push the stop button, push the pause, whichever works in that moment. Recognize what you are saying to yourself, because whatever you say to yourself, you're right. If you say I'm not worthy, if you say I don't deserve this, if you're saying, oh, but I can't do this because, or if you're saying, well, it's not perfect, so I'm not starting, or, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do that, I'm really scared about this, or that person, or they're better than me, or whatever, if you're comparing and judging yourself along the way, then you're right. You're giving your power away in that moment. And so how do you bust through limiting beliefs? The first step is to notice what they are. And often we don't notice them for ourselves. So that's why we do coaching, and it's why we always have a coach, because it's these things that it was like, this keeps happening. And it was like, well, what's this? What's that? Where is this? Where's your attention? And it was like, oh, I'm creating that pattern. Oh, okay, cool. It's a pattern I can change, I can create. We can't change what we don't know. And so having that ability and that person in your corner to help you recognize those things, and we talk about many different things like this in the book as well. So the book is a fantastic way to start recognizing what your patterns are, and then it's got some tools and tips and some specific things on how to break those patterns down, shift them, because we can rewire our brain. We know now through neuroscience and neuroencoding, we can stop the neural pathway that goes pattern, 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 stimulus, control, stimulus, response, stimulus, response, stimulus, response. We can break that pattern in the middle. And we do it within 2 or 3 minutes. We have fun doing it with people as well. And then we rebuild the new pattern. We rebuild it through what you say to yourselves and what you feel. So you rebuild a new pattern with repetition plus emotion. It has to have both. You can't just go, I'm amazing, I'm amazing, I'm amazing, I can stand on stage, I can stand on stage, I can stand on stage, I can speak in a meeting, I can speak in a meeting. It's not going to work. It's like positive thinking. It doesn't work. It doesn't work long term. It's BS. It's one of those BSs. Because you need to have that belief in every cell of your body. So that's where the emotion comes into it. It's repetition plus emotion. And then we can recreate, rebuild new beliefs, new actions, new pathways, new levels of growth going forward.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. So now to wrap it up, when you look back at your own journey, what is one lesson you wish every young professional and aspiring leader could learn sooner?
Learn to lead your way, and that's authentic leadership. It's
Wow.
not about following their pattern. It's not about following what they do over there because they're a really good leader. It's not about, if you're a woman, there was a whole thing around lead like a man, be tough, be strong, dress like a man, lower your voice, blah, blah, blah. That's all BS. Because if you're incongruent with who you are and who you are being, with what you are doing, then all you get is internal conflict and stress and ill health and ill mental health. And so recognizing and creating who you are being is the actual absolute first step of awareness, self-regulation, developing the psychological capital that helps you to keep going no matter what, and having agency. The 4 pillars of authentic leadership. Agency is taking action, not waiting for the confidence to show up, not waiting for permission, taking action, regardless of what happens in the end. Regardless of the outcome, you take action and you learn from it. That's authentic leadership.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Is there something else you would love to share with my audience as to wrap up the conversation?
Love to keep you in touch with us at Walt Institute. So if you go to our website, there's some free things to download to help you begin your journey towards leadership or even just self-development, and knowing how you can handle stress differently, knowing how to build more resilience for you or your team or your family or your community. There is lots of free resources on our website, Walt Institute, WALT Institute. And if you want to get in touch with me, Dr. Elizabeth Pritchard, I'm through there. You can contact me through there. You can see what programs we do, what coaching we do. We come into organisations and we do long-term transformational leadership training with people. And that is what we're passionate about, love to do, and so would love to stay in contact with you. If you sign up on our website as well, you'll get our Friday blogs that come out. That's already come out this morning because it's Friday morning here where I am. So it's 6:15 in the morning. They come out on a Friday morning and they give you inspiration and some tools along the way every single week. So stay in touch, waltinstitute.com, WALT Institute.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining us and sharing your wisdom on confidence, leadership, and finding your voice. It was an amazing time with you, and I really learned a lot. So, and also to my listeners, remember, growth doesn't always happen when you wait until you are ready. It happens when you decide to trust your capability, take the action, and show up anyway. So until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep becoming.